Yo, what's up, virgins and virgettes? Every day I keep thinking about the same blue rat over and over again. I wonder why that is. Well, with one of the most recognizable character designs, a bevy of multimedia adaptations, and a supreme presence in internet culture, it's no wonder he keeps space in my thoughts. The four main pillars for this blue hedgehog are the video games, movies, TV shows, and comics. Yes, there's stuff like merchandise, I Love You Sonic Boom Jetpack, but these four are the main shebang. Thousands of hours can be poured into the games, you can have week-long discussions on the TV shows and movies, and it's fun to get into heated debates online about the comics. Yeah, that's a slur. These four things should occupy your time with Sonic for as long as necessary. But, I mean, if you do want more Sonic, there's always the fan fiction. Yep, today's video topic is Sonic the Hedgehog fan fiction, because you can't get enough of the blue fuck. Now let me preface this in saying that I don't actively hate anyone who writes fan fiction, or even hate fan fiction in general. In fact, I'm actually an active fan fiction reader and author myself, with the secrets out. But after reading as much Sonic fan fiction as I have, it is very easy to make fun of or cringe at these pieces of work. So in order to understand these absolute behemoths of uncurated ideas, let's take a deep dive into some of them. First off, the most popular and, in my opinion, only place to find these pieces of work is on Archive of Our Own, or AO3 for short. Now, there are just general stories about Sonic and friends going on adventures and whatnot, but those are few and far between. The bulk of these stories revolve around a ship, and for those of you non-degenerates, a ship is a combination of two or sometimes more characters. And seeing as the ships are what mostly is on here, we'll be taking a look at those. Now, you might be asking, what two Sonic characters could possibly be romantically written with each other? I'm glad you asked. First off, the most popular combination, surprisingly, is with Sonic the Hedgehog himself and his main rival Shadow the Hedgehog, or commonly known as Sonado. I don't actively seek out these ones, but the writing is just fucking absurd.
Catching Sonic off guard, Shadow takes him in for a kiss. A long kiss. Slowly, Sonic eases up and closes his eyes as Shadow begins to explore with his mouth. Alright, get the shit out of here.
And honestly, most important to me, Shadow is always out of character whenever he's shipped with someone. The fucker is a silent brooder who would rather be dead than to be bound to one person. So yeah, Sonado gets a rating on my patented ship scale of 4 out of 8. Because honestly, the writing is pretty fucking impressive. The next most popular ship features Sonic and newcomer Amy Rose. This combination is known as Son-Amy. The fanfics that center around these two are usually more emotional and adventurous compared to Sonado, which is just fucking gay sex. Sonic and Amy are usually always in character, with Sonic being concerned about a relationship with Amy affecting their friendship and their group dynamic, and with Dr. Eggman. And Amy always puts her love and affection and care towards Sonic in the video games anyway. It just makes too much sense. I mean, Son-Amy has been hinted at in official Sonic media over the years anyways, with stuff like the last episode in Sonic X, or in Sonic's literally on his way to a date in Sonic and the Black Knight with Amy. And also in Sonic Boom, the TV show, it's hinted at many times. So yeah, this is the most natural feeling ship, and it's usually written pretty well. It gets a rating of 7.5 out of 8 on my scale. The only reason it's brought down a little bit is because there's so much of it, there's usually a few stinkers in there. Now, the last ship I'll be talking about before delving into some actual writing is Shadow and Amy, or known as Shad-Amy. Now, on the complete opposite side of the spectrum from Son-Amy, this actually feels like one of the most unnatural ships out there. Shadow's out of character for the same reasons I've said before, him being bound to one person and all that, and Amy's out of character because even in official media she stated multiple times that she just does not like Shadow, and also that her love for Sonic just exceeds all, so this is pretty unnatural in my opinion. Not much to talk about here. 1 out of 8. Now, there's two styles for Sonic and friends to be written in. There's the normal everyday life that they can find themselves in like the games and TV show and whatnot, and also the alternate universes, or AUs. I personally don't have a preference. I think the two can live in harmony side by side. But when you look further into the AUs, that's when you can see some cracks start to form. The two most popular AU settings are medieval times and high school setting, naturally. The ones set in medieval times can be the most adventurous, emotional, and thrilling ones out there. They can usually be pretty good. Notably, what was stolen by user B Extraordinary is all the things I just listed before, and it's still going on to this day. It's pretty good. However, the one set in high school, ooh boy, is there a lot to talk about. Actually, one of the few ones I've seen that has Shadow the Hedgehog and Blaze the Cat, who's actually right here, the shit that's really not too common, There is one in a high school setting that has this fucking chapter warning.
Chapter warning. This chapter contains depictions of severe bullying, depictions of sexual harassment, references to suicide, and the use of homophobic slurs. For Shadow the Hedgehog and Blaze the Cat fanfiction?
And going back to the topic of the bad Son Amy ones, another one I saw that was a high school setting, it was just, oh my god. You can look into the tags to see like what's gonna be in the story and like the little warning tags or whatever. And the only thing I saw that was like maybe a little off-putting was loss of virginity, but I thought that was gonna be like noticeable. It wasn't gonna go too deep in the detail, but the start and just anything besides that, it was fucking insane. The first chapter had fucking looking at a picture of and then he got in the shower using some just the worst language I've ever heard. And in the next chapter at school when they're walking to class and goes to the fucking school bathroom, things are just horrible. It was just a lot to take in. And I read that, then literally like 10 minutes later, I hopped on a plane to Philadelphia, and it just sat in my brain the whole time. I couldn't get it out. It was just, what I read was so vulgar in my opinion that it was just like, Jesus fucking Christ. So yeah, alternate universe is pretty hit or miss. Getting back to more ships, we have Sonic and Knuckles, or Sonickles, which is a pretty fucking stupid name, but it's whatever. Not too bad. There's not a lot of it out there, so there's not a huge sample size to go off of, but it's pretty well written for what it's worth. 5 out of 8. Knuckles and Rouge, or Nux Ouge, which is an even fucking worse name than Sonickles, but there's literally nothing you do, it's just their fucking names. However, in like the games and TV shows and comics and whatnot, she's a pretty shitty person, honestly, and in a lot of these fanfictions, she's written as like a goody two-shoes with a heart of gold, and when she is written like that, it feels pretty unnatural and out of character. Another 5 out of 8. The most underrated combo, in my opinion, features 2 of my favorite characters, Silver the Hedgehog and Blaze the Cat. Once again. Or Sylvaise. There's not much of it written, but what is there is usually enjoyable to read. Since the ship is pretty much canonized by Sega themselves, it always feels natural. Another 7.5 out of 8. The whole ship fanfiction is split right in the middle between 2 groups. Adventures that revolve around 2 characters that have like an actual story and whatnot, and smut. There is a little crossover, notably Contrast by Rowan Jacobs. It has a thrilling and honestly pretty disturbing story set in Sonic's world. But during some downtime, Sonic and Amy can get a little intimate if you catch my drift. Now, it's not bad, the story is well written and would be enjoyable enough even without the Son Amy fluff. But there's no doubt it crosses into some heavy stuff. I like the titles of the more story-driven works. It can be thought-provoking and imaginative and leave you with a sense of intrigue to see what the story is really about.
Sonic fuck tears.
Be glad that you didn't have to read what I just did. I just don't get the appeal of sexualizing Sonic characters, and even if you are into that, why not just look at Rule 34 and call it a day? I guess it's not my place to criticize these sexual works because I'll never be into them, but still, it can be a bit much. Wrapping things up, I just want to say thank you for watching, and if you are actually interested in reading some of my work, I'm ApronBurn on AO3. Thank you for watching, virgins and virgettes. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.